Hey, what's up, folks? This is Tronathon with my second video of my Tronathon Muses series. The first one I didn't really plan on being part of the series, but it was just a rant on the Norwegian mass murderer Anders Breivik and his relation to video games, so I just thought I'd put it in there and call it the first episode of Tronathon Muses. My topic for today is a bit different. The Charlotte Bobcats, who have just set the record, as of last night, the record for the worst winning percentage in the history of the NBA. They only won 7 games out of a 66-game schedule. They had a .106 winning percentage, which is worse than, I forget what our team was. I think it was a 76ers team, a Philadelphia 76ers team. And they wound up losing the last 23 games of the season. Now, that number is freaking horrendous. But it's even worse is the fact that who is their owner and who their owner is, and the fact that that used to be his number. Care to guess? Take a guess. You have 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's Michael Jordan. Yes. Michael fucking Jordan. Michael Jeffrey Jordan. One of the greatest NBA players in the history of the game. Probably the greatest player in the history of the game. Who led the 95-96 Chicago Bulls to a 72-10 record, which is the best record of all time. And the team that he owns, the Charlotte Bobcats, has just set the record for the worst win percentage. The irony is indeed stunning. I just cannot believe that I lived to see this. I didn't think that this was possible. This just didn't seem possible. I mean, a couple years ago, everyone thought the New Jersey Nets were going to set that record, but they wound up actually winning games, and that was in a full 72-game schedule. So the Bobcats couldn't even win on a shorter schedule. They only won 7 games, which is pathetic. They're the worst team by far in the Eastern Conference. Who's the worst team in the West? I think it was the New Orleans Hornets. The Nolens Hornets. Who, strangely enough, used to be based in Charlotte. I know. I used to live right near Charlotte. I would go to Hornets games on occasion, especially if the Bulls were in town. But I mean, this is just one of the most dubious instances, one of the most dubious records you could ever hope to accomplish. I mean, let's just think about this. 7 games out of a 66-game schedule. I'm not even sure how that would translate to a 72-game schedule. Maybe, I don't even think they could have won 8 games in a 72-game schedule. I can't name any of their players. I mean, the only Bobcats player I used to know about was Emeka Okafor, and he's gone. And another thing, it's their coach, who is obviously a fucking idiot, because at the end of the season, right after the loss, he said, we learned things from this, and he made it sound like it wasn't at all a negative experience. How much more fucking negative can you get? Unless you lost every game, which is impossible in a game with a long season. I mean, I guess what we saw, what we've just witnessed, is the equivalent to the Detroit Lions laying the perfect goose egg in the '08, I think it was. Yeah, it was. Or was it? I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. I'm just doing this very off the top of my head, so I don't exactly remember. But I remember them failing. I mean, and by the way, they've had a miraculous turnaround. They actually made the playoffs and took the Saints to a close game for a while. It's just, I just cannot believe this happened. 7 games out of a 66-game schedule. That's how you went 7-59, and your coach doesn't seem to think that it was just all a fucking train wreck. This is the worst campaign in the history of the NBA, and probably the ABA, or whatever that other league was that merged with the NBA. And it's what pisses me off about this is the Michael Jordan connection. I mean, I grew up idolizing Michael Jordan. You know, I said before in one of my other videos relating to the Black Ops 2 reveal, which by the way is Black Ops 2, is that I'm a big Bulls fan. And I grew up watching Michael Jordan. I wanted to be Michael Jordan, but I'm a bit too white for that, as you can see. You know, I just don't know what this is going to do for Michael's reputation. I mean, as a player, he's probably still in the clear. Because, you know, who can forget moments like the shrug, that last shot, the fucking flu game against the Jazz? I don't know. What happened? What went wrong, Michael? I mean, first of all, why did you even purchase a stake in a Charlotte-based basketball team? I lived there. Hardly anyone ever gave a shit about the Hornets. They only actually gave a shit when they were actually leaving. Barely anyone went to their games. Sometimes it was just pretty empty. Especially when they sucked. I mean, they had Muggsy Bogues, but that was about it. I just don't know, man. Anyway, definitely different mood swings. I went from laughing to being angry because Michael Jordan was connected, and to this just perplexing because their idiot coach. So, yeah, that's my musings about the Bobcats and their utter failure as a basketball team. I mean, fuck it. You could probably find even a decent high school team could beat the Bobcats the way they are at the end of the season. My goodness, man. I've witnessed some pretty horrendous failures in my lifetime. First the Lions and now the Bobcats. So, big cats are destined for failure. Anyway. Yeah, that's probably all I can do right now because it'll be quiet hours in my dorm soon, starting out for finals. So, I'll leave you on that note, on this rather odd rant, this train of thought. So, to all you viewers out there, this is Tronathon, over and out.